Action's been folded around to Mesbah Ghafi on the button. With King Jack, he will raise.
The King Jack, people talk about it as a trouble hand, but when you're on the button with King Jack, it's a very easy raise, and it's going to be near the top of your range at that point. But Ace Queen is certainly near the top of your range when you're 3-betting from the small blind.
Emanuele Regini makes the re-raise. Bet is now 340,000. McCorkle folds the big blind. It comes back to Ghafi.
Good size re-raise. Usually when you re-raise from out of position, you want to do it for a little bit more than you would if you're in position.
Ghafi started the hand with just shy of 800,000.
He might just think he has too much hand to fold here.
With his stack, he can't just call, can he? It's got to be all or nothing.
And this is a good argument for the just shoving pre-flop.
He decides to shove. The quick call from Regini. And Ghafi sees that he's behind, but not that far behind.
Yeah, muttering to himself. The reason that it's a good argument for just shoving pre-flop is he doesn't have to make this decision now when he gets re-raised. You know, someone can take advantage of it and re-raise him light.
So far, so good for Regini. Ghafi, the player at risk. Will need a king or a jack to survive.
Couple of extra outs. Now he's got a straight draw to go with his king or jack.
A 9, a king, or a jack. It's the 9!
Oh.
The Italian gets unlucky. The Frenchman doubles up.
He looks quite happy about it.
And a double blow for the Italians. Regini loses half his stack, and Domenico Iannone is eliminated from the outer table. So a lot of action in the main event, but it's not the only tournament taking place here in the Salle des Etoiles. Out on the floor is the 25k high roller. The best in the business are all in attendance, playing for first prize of 956,000 euros. All the big names, and a few big mouths as well, including France's Michael Azoulay. He's barely shut up all day. But everyone loves a talker, don't they?
Does it annoy me when people talk at the table? Well,
that depends on the player.
Okay, you can look at it two ways. One,
you have the nuts?
Or two.
Ah, you're bluffing.
I never bluff.
Are you serious?
Well, almost never.
Oh, you gotta be joking.
I made the sickest fold of my life.
From my point of view, either way is good for the game.
Okay, you have to call.
Call me what?
Ah, you steam me, huh, big boy?
Shouldn't. Come on, grow up.
You should know better.
You don't say a word?
You have to go to the bathroom.
Do you?
There had to be one, didn't there?
I think he did it once before. I think it was Dortmund, 2007.
Yeah, I never forget that. No comment. When you gotta go?
You gotta go.
I love prop bets. Hate prop bets.
I like to talk on the table.
Just a little bit more than usual.
It can get a bit much.
Says who?
Wow. Come on, we have like 2 minutes to talk. Okay?
Beautiful.
Would you like to hear more from one of the chattiest players in the game?
That's why we like the game.
Here's Daniel.
Hello, Daniel.
Hello, how are you doing? Busy?
I'm doing fantastic. Got my glad rags on here in Monte Carlo.
Glad rags. You see, Americans will have no idea what the heck that means.
Oh, well, it's the dress. You've got yours out the bag, right?
Yeah, I got glad rags, and I'm very glad to have these rags on.
Excellent, we love it. Now, you're playing in the high roller, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
How are you doing?
So far, so good. I've got a really tough Swede kid on my left who's been raising me like crazy, and I feel like I'm going to war with him, and one of us will not make it through the day.
I like it. It's fighting talk from Negreanu. Yeah. Now, 2 tables left. You've been on plenty final of tables yourself. What do these guys need to do to cut it?
Well, these are tough final tables these days. I mean, I'm sure that at this point all these guys are like well experienced, you know. So really just have to think on a high level and really just focus and try to pick up anything you can physically as far as tells. Because everyone else probably plays the game so well that all you have left is try to like get reads off people.
Thanks for talking to us, Daniel, and good luck.
All right, cheers.
We're balancing the tables. Laurent Olive is leaving the feature table, going to the outer table. 7 players on each. 14 remain. Emmanuel Regini still smarting from that hand where his ace-queen got beaten by King-Jack. He's picked up pocket eights. He starts this hand with 760,000.
50,000 chip big blind. He's not folding this hand unless some crazy action develops behind him.
He makes a small raise, but I don't think he's passing if someone comes over the top. As Shuiti may well do with King-Queen on the button.
Shuiti has this like pained look on his face. Like, I don't want to see King-Queen or something. I don't get it.
Could you put forward an argument that Regini should have opened shove the eights?
He probably should have. But, you know, to each their own. I think there are some tournaments where you can... wow, he folded King-Queen? Lucky to fold King-Queen. Anyways, there are some tournaments where I'd be willing to raise fold with the stack that he has. You know, if the other people aren't very aggressive, if you're not worried about getting 3-bet light. But at a table as tough as this one, I'd probably just shove.
Andrew Chen re-raises all in. Wow, Shuiti really did dodge a bullet on this occasion.
Yeah, I mean, King-Queen is a pretty good hand against a guy who only has 15 big blinds.
Well, I said I was pretty sure that Regini wasn't raise folding, and if he calls here with the eights, he'll be hoping for a race. Unfortunately, he's up against an overpair and will be 4-1 dog. There's the call.
And difficult position for Regini. You know, 2-8 is a pretty big hand in this spot. He's just unlucky to run into Andrew Chen's kings.
Well, we all know what the Italian needs. An 8 will save him. He'll need to hit on the turn or river. Well, we're down to 13. 1 card left. A 2-outer, a 5% chance. Regini's gone.
They both make a full house. Regini's lower than Chen's.
Crippled by Mesbar Gerfi, and then Andrew Chen struck the death blow. He shakes hands with his fellow countryman Salvatore Bonavena. And he walks away to collect 70,000 euros from the cage. In reality, that walk from the stage is less than 100 yards. But right now, for Emmanuel Regini, it probably feels like the better part of a mile.
It's been a busy session. Laurent Olive went out in 13th place shortly after he moved to the outer table. Lithuanian Dominykas Karmazinas welcomed his chips. And on our featured table, it was curtains for Kelaporo. The highly rated Finnish pro is out. His ace-5 was dominated by McCorkle's ace-7, and it only got worse on the turn. McCorkle made his flush and sent Sammy packing. But he got 80,000 euros for his trouble. Just 11 remain.
And this guy is the chip leader right now. Nicolas Shuiti from Lebanon has nearly 6.5 million in chips.
He's got nearly twice as much as his second competitor.
Action's been folded to Andrew Chen on the button, and he raises with 9-3 of hearts. And Salvatore Bonavena Sensing that this is nothing more than a button steal, re-raises all in with King 10. These two, of course, have history. They played against each other at the final table of Prague in EPT 5. A tournament where Chen finished third and Bonavena finished first.
Bonavena with a really nice shove there. Seems they might have learned something from Andrew Chen's 25 big blind skills.
You can see that Chen is determined to get the better of this guy, at least once in his poker playing career. More action from the EPT Grand Final in Monte Carlo after the break. Welcome back to the PokerStars.com European Poker Tour. It's the climax of Season 6, coming to you from the Millionaire's Playground, Monte Carlo. It's fabulous here on the French Riviera. There's little wonder that all the biggest names in the game came to play. We had a grand total of 848 players for the EPT Grand Final. It was the last chance for some to make their mark on Season 6 and, of course, lay claim to their share of the €8.5 million prize pool. 128 got paid, and there were some notable cashes, including ex-English footballer Teddy Sheringham. He finished 103rd for €20,000. And the champion of the 2003 World Series of Poker main event, Chris Moneymaker, finished in 69th. And now just 11 players remain, including the 5 seated around our feature table. And they include the tournament chip leader Nicola Schuiti, who has $6.5 million, and Salvatore Bonavena, a former EPT champion, who has $1.4 million. Schuiti's under the gun, he'll fold the 10-7. Ace-7 for Andrew Chen. Remember, we are playing short-handed.
Yeah, 5-handed Ace-7's a pretty good opening hand. Doesn't really stand a re-raise very well, but it's good to come into the pot.
Makes it 120,000 and a quick all-in from Bonavena. Again, Chen and Bonavena clash.
A7 certainly doesn't do well against 2 10s.
Again, Andrew Chen is forced to fold, and Bonavena shows him the 10s.
Chen looking a little frustrated. Bonavena gives him some reinforcement. I've always got it.
Andrew Chen came third the Prague leg of the EPT in Season 5. The champion of that particular event was this gentleman, Salvatore Bonavena. And then a few months later, the tour moved on to Monte Carlo, and the champion of the Grand Final that year was Peter de Corva, standing there alongside his fellow countryman Marcel Lusk. And playing in the high roller is the champion of the last EPT event before Monte Carlo, Liv Boeri. She took down San Remo. So one more champion to crown this season. Will it be a 2-time winner? Or will we keep up the trend of having a different champion every time?
One more champion, and the biggest champion. The Grand Final here in Monte Carlo, the biggest event on the tour.
You would say that as a former champion.
I got to talk myself up.
So Schuiti has raised to 120,000. Chen on the button with 6s. Elects to call and see a flop.
Playing his hand a little bit slowly against the chip leader, who opened in the cutoff. Schuiti hasn't really gotten out of line too much, except for the hand where he 3-bet with 6s from under the gun +1. So Chen playing a little bit cautiously.
Not the best flop in the world for a pair of 6s. Let's not forget that he does actually have the lead. Schuiti has absolute garbage. Schuiti now does have a piece of it. He has a pair of 3s.